Hello, Cancer. I'm Jen with Timeline Tarot. Hope you're doing well. Let's take a look now at your tarot card for the week of November 30th, 2025. I've set the intention of this reading to be for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus. So if you have Cancer in any of those placements, there's a little message in this reading for you today. As for this reading, it is collective in nature. That means it is not individualized nor personalized to you. Messages may come through today that do not fully resonate. And if that happens, don't get upset. It just means that one message is meant for someone else watching. Also, keep in mind that Mercury retrograde is still affecting me as I'm a Gemini. So if I stumble or fumble my way through the reading, I apologize ahead of time. Also, if I speak too fast or speak too slow, I've found that to be something that's been quite problematic for me during this recent Mercury retrograde. So you're welcome to click on that little gear icon on the video and you can change the setting speed to suit your liking. And I think that's about it. This is not what you don't see coming for the week ahead. Tarot card of the week reading, typically a question. Source wants us to go within, think about, ponder, so we can make a determination or decision to move our lives forward. So we don't get too stuck or too stagnant in situations, environments, connections, maybe even patterns that no longer serve our highest good. So let's tap into the Cancer Collective now for Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus placements. What is the tarot card of the week for the week of November 30th, 2025 for the Cancer Collective? Let's get one more shuffle. Thank you. Your tarot card of the week, the Five of Cups. What painful situation, environment, connection in your life are you focused on, and what positive aspects are you not seeing? The bottom of the deck, Nine of Pentacles. What situation, environment, or connection in your life is calling on you to have independence and self-realization? Why is the Five of Cups the tarot card of the week here for the Cancerian Collective? I get this feeling of ruminating, like thinking of something that is no more, or something didn't work out the way you wanted it to, or perhaps you are missing a particular individual in your life, whether they've passed on or they've just moved on. And I feel like what you're not realizing is that whatever has left your life was part of your life's path or journey. And you're spending a lot of pentacle resources, meaning time. That is your most, all of ours, right? Most of our most valuable resource. I think you're spending a lot of time lately thinking about the loss. And maybe it's because of where you live in the world. I know where I'm at, it's getting dark at like 4:30. For others of you, it could be a seasonal sadness here that is setting in. Tell me more about the Five of Cups here for the Cancer Collective. Why is this your tarot card of the week? One more shuffle here. Thank you. There's like a redirection here that needs to take place for the Cancer Collective. Tell me more about this. Three of Wands, Nine of Pentacles to the Nine of Pentacles, Page of Swords, and the Seven of Cups. The bottom of the deck, Five of Cups. There we go. Ten of Swords, Two of Wands. I'm going to take this Nine of Swords as well. That leaves the King of Wands, the Six of Swords, and the World card here at the bottom of the deck. So you've had an ending here. And look, for some of you, it happened last week. For others of you, last month or last year. But regardless of when it took place, you're currently finding yourself, and if it's not your reading, don't, like I said at the intro, don't be offended. Just check another placement. But some of you are spending a lot of time lately thinking about what could have been, what should have been, what was, what wasn't. And I think you're spending a lot of pentacle resources thinking about what could have been. If you notice in the Two of Wands, the way the cards are laid out, the Two of Wands is looking right at the Ten of Swords, looking right at the Five of Cups. So it's like an inability to move forward because we're so busy focused on something that we lost in the past, or maybe something good that we had in our life that is no more, like maybe a career path or something like that, because maybe you've retired or you've changed career paths. But there's this looking back into the past and ruminating on a loss, on a betrayal, on something that ended by force or by choice, and the grief and sadness that went hand in hand with that loss. And I feel like it's something you think about all the time, consciously as well as subconsciously. So even when you don't realize you're thinking about it, it's still sort of working its way through your subconscious. Like you're thinking about it even when you're not thinking about it. Some of you even at night. So even if you're sleeping, 7, 8, 9, 10 hours at night, you may still find yourself a bit sluggish or tired during the day. And it's because it could be affecting your dream state or your sleep state. And some of you literally just have an inability to get a good restful night's sleep at this time. Maybe even some anxiety, nighttime anxiety, or possibly even some night terrors for one or two of you watching. Three of Wands. Look at even in the Three of Wands in your deck. It's like having this cup of coffee and looking out into the future, but the person is alone at the table right across from them. It's another cup. It's another cup of coffee or a cup of tea, but the seat is empty. The only thing on the table is a camera here, probably loaded with photos and memories. So it's possible for some of you at this time, you're looking back at photos or just recalling memories. Again, in respect to someone who's no longer in your life, and could even be several people. And whether that person passed away or the relationship came to an end, or like I said, you retired or you stopped working there, you're feeling like something or someone is missing from your life. And I'm not telling you that you have to fill that vacancy today, right? That vacant seat. This is going to sound so mean, and I don't mean to, I'm not a mean person. I think what you're failing to see is that you have the ability to have someone sit in that chair. And that doesn't mean they're replacing what was. It just means that you have the ability to not sit alone at this table. Spending a little too much time thinking about what could have been instead of thinking about what could be. Seven of Cups, Neptune and Pisces astrological placement. Your dreams, your wishes, your goals, they're yours for the taking. It's a very future-focused energy. But if we get too caught up on what was or what didn't pan out or what ended, we miss the opportunity to move towards what we really want for ourselves. Tell me a little bit more about this here. Clarify that Five of Swords, Ten of Swords for me. One more shuffle here. Thank you. The World, the Ending, Temperance, and Strength. Wow. Bottom of the deck, the Fool. Not easy to, out of a 78 card deck, to get the World card followed by the Fool card, especially in that succession and in a very small spread. 11 cards on the table. I feel like whatever this ending has been for you, whether, like I said, it happened a week ago, a month ago, or 10 years ago, for some reason, it is now in Sagittarius season that you're finding it difficult and to face this ending or to heal through this ending. I don't want to say get over this ending. I don't think we ever really get over endings. But you're having a difficult time managing what was or what you're missing, or maybe the lack that you're feeling, and then missing, and then, you're having a difficult time, I don't want to say juggling, but balancing those two out. Remembering what was. I just heard regrets. Maybe some of you have some regrets. Anyway, I don't want to get too sidetracked on your message here. It looks like you're having a difficult time balancing the emotions in respect to what you lost, as well as the excitement that you should be feeling for what can be and for what will be. So your future here is kind of being held hostage just a little bit, because there's too much mental and emotional energy, as well as pentacle resources being invested in something this is going to be really difficult for me to say to you, that you can't change. It just was. It was part of your journey. You're now on a new path. The Fool, the High Priestess, and the Emperor. I almost want to say it's time for you to take control of your destiny. Every day that goes by, every minute that goes by is one less day, one less minute that you have in your future. Don't spend it ruminating on what was or what could have been. Instead, take this opportunity to build now what you want, to create the life you want. Tell me about these wishes, dreams, and hopes here, and then we'll get some advice on how you can move towards them. Tell me more about that Seven of Cups. I feel like the world is your oyster. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Chariot, the Ace of Swords. That is the truth. Two cards came out here. Queen of Pentacles as well as Queen of Swords. Interesting, because Queens in Tarot become the Queens of Tarot by reviewing the past, the whole culmination of their suit, takes them to queen level. It starts at the Ace of Swords and you get to the Queen of Swords. You start at the Ace of Pentacles, you get to the Queen of Pentacles. But they're reflective in nature. They are emboldened, or they have new experiences, or they've learned how to better communicate, or they've been forged through fire, all based upon their past history. In that respect, they're a little reactive in nature. They're reacting to the past. They're changing how they show up in the present because of the past. It's a very past/present dynamic when I see the Queens in Tarot. What you need to do is to get yourself to king status, whether you're masculine or feminine. Not trying to make it sound hierarchical. That's just how the suits go. They go from the aces to the kings, because the queens are reflective in nature. And yes, you've grown a lot because of what you have gone through, but you're not yet ready, or you're not yet at the stage where you're in king status to now take action on your own behalf, as a King of Swords or a King of Pentacles would do. I feel like once you do that, you step into the role of the King of Pentacles or the King of Swords, then you're able to move forward very quickly. So first I want to say to you, I'm not telling you this week to not think about what was or what could have been, or to not feel the pain or the loss, because I think it's healthy. I think you need to feel it in order to heal it. I say that quite often in my readings. But I would create a time and place or space to do that. I wouldn't spend all day doing that. And I feel like that's the message that's coming through. So you wake up Monday morning and you decide, today I'll spend an hour, if you have that time allotted. I don't know, maybe you only have 15 minutes, whatever time you can allot, set aside. I'm going to spend, again, just an example, an hour thinking about this, missing it, ruminating, being nostalgic, thinking of the good and the bad. But then I'm going to spend an hour thinking about what I want, gaining clarity that now that this is over, what do I want for my future? If the business ended, well, what kind of business would I like to create for myself in the future? If the relationship ended with a friend, well, what kind of friend or friend groups or friendships would I like to have in the future? You don't have to take any action yet. Queens are reflective in nature. But I feel like that's the first step for you this week, is to create some time aside to remember and to grieve, but then equal amount of time to now just think and dream and get some clarity about what you want moving forward. So 1 hour to focus on what was, and then 1 hour to figure out what you want, what will be. Page of Swords. Start small. Little conversations with yourself. Okay? That work dynamic fell apart. My business partner left. Maybe they sabotaged the business. Maybe they stole some money from you. Terrible set of circumstances, no matter how you look at it. At the end of the day, you had a business partnership come to an end, and as a result, you've lost your business. This is just an example, not predictive in nature. But this week, think about, if I could do it all over again, because I have the knowledge here, I have the wisdom of the Queen of Pentacles and the Queen of Swords. If I would launch a business in the future again, what would I do differently? What would that business look like? What would the services or products I provide look like? I almost want to say to you, dare to dream this week just a little bit. Instead of focusing on what you lost, focus on what could be, on what you could have, on what you could build. Page of Swords, and do it in small incremental steps this week. 1 hour on this, 1 hour on this, 20 minutes on this, 20 minutes on this. Thank you. The Hermit and the Six of Swords. By internalizing this and giving yourself that moment to reflect, Hermit energy, again, reflect on what was and reflect on what could be, it will energetically help you to move on from what this was. So you can step into that bright and beautiful future that you want. The Five of Wands, bottom of the deck, King of Swords. Then we get to king status. And the kings are the individuals in tarot who take action on their own behalf. So I think that's the first thing here, is just the thought process. We don't have to plant any seeds this week. We're not at King of Pentacles. You don't have to launch anything this week. But if you take time this week, and like I said, I think it needs to be done in equal parts. 1 hour, I'm going to grieve this. 1 hour, I'm going to dream this. 1 hour, I'm going to remember this. 1 hour, I'm going to think about, if I had to do it all over again, or if I were to do something differently, what would that look like? How would I do it? And you might go back and forth. There's a little internal conflict here with the Five of Wands, and that's natural as we're thinking about things. But I think if you stay focused on that, you then step into King of Swords. And the King of Swords is now someone who has great clarity. Oh, I see the lessons. Now I understand why that ended. I can take all the lessons that the Queen of Swords has acquired. And now I know that when I do step forward, when I'm ready to lay that pentacle energy, when I'm ready to step forward, I'm a lot smarter now. Now I have clarity. Now I'm thinking logistically. Now I have the facts. Now I understand the lessons. Now I know what I'm taking with me into the future, what I want to build, rebuild, or do differently. So what painful situation in your life are you focused on too much? And what positive aspects are you not seeing? The beginning, the new beginning, how to do it differently, how to not do it at all, how to create something entirely different for your life, or to replicate it with some modifications or changes. Let's get you 3 cards of advice here. So what painful situation in your life are you too focused on, the past or the ending? And what positive aspects are you not seeing, the brand new beginning, as well as all the lessons that you learned along the way? I was saying this in another reading, and I forget what sign it was, maybe Libra. So if you have some high Libra placements, Sun, Moon, Rising, as well as Venus, you might want to take a look at that Libra reading. And I had said in the Libra reading that, and I don't say this because I'm a Gemini, the sword suit, for me just as a reader, is the most difficult suit for an individual to process and progress through in their life. And really think about it. We start with the Ace of Swords. We get this aha, epiphany moment, this moment of clarity, Ace of Swords. Well, then we end up at the Two of Swords. Well, now I have to make a decision. Do I move towards this idea? If I make the wrong decision or I don't handle it correctly, where do I end up? The Three of Swords, not a very feel-good energy. And that then puts me into the Four of Swords. Now I get to rest and heal and learn and meditate. And I get to move forward again. But if I move forward too quickly or I didn't learn the lessons from the past, I could very well end up in the Five of Swords. Not a feel-good energy either. And then what happens after the Five of Swords? I get in the boat, Six of Swords, and I move through. I move through the stormy waters and I get into the calm waters. But when I get into the calm waters, if I still did not remember the lessons from the past, I could very well sabotage myself in the Seven of Swords. And then we end up in the Eight of Swords, Nine of Swords, Ten of Swords, that mental block of pain, anguish, conscious and subconsciously thinking about what we went through, what went wrong, what we did right, what we didn't do right, the red flags we missed, the ones we ignored. And it's only after that whole process of going from the Ace of Swords to the Ten of Swords that we finally get into the People cards, the Page of Swords. The Page of Swords says, wait a minute, I need to learn, I need to inquire, I need to get more information, because going from the Ace of Swords to the Ten of Swords is not an easy feat, right? It's not for the faint of heart. It's quite difficult. So now as it's a page, I'm going to learn something a little differently. And that's what you're being asked to do this week. Looking at the past a bit differently, taking the knowledge, but not the pain, and beginning to explore, what do I want my future to look like? Because once you have that clarity, you go from page to knight. Knight of Swords holds the Ace of Swords. I'm ready. I'm ready now to march forward into my life. I'm stepping into the role of the Queen of Swords. I have all the knowledge of the past. I know how to react now. I know what I want. I know what I don't want. And once I get to that complete place of clarity and understanding and growth, I now can become the King of Swords. And now I can be very logistic in the way I move forward. Very authentic to myself, because I've learned all the lessons going from the Ace of Swords to the Ten of Swords. I don't think you need to take any big steps this week, any big investments, except for your time. Your Pentacle resources are quite valuable in terms of time. We can't make more of it, right? We can't trade it. We can't buy it. And so I would spend equal amounts of time between feeling this loss, thinking about it, ruminating on it, but giving equal time to what have I learned from it? What would I do differently? What do I want my next relationship or my next chapter or my next business plan to look like? Let's get you 3 cards of advice, because I really think the only way for you to move forward from that is to spend that time, to allow yourself the time to not focus all the time about what was, but to begin focusing on what will be, on what you want. 3 cards of advice here for Cancer. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Your advice: Knight of Cups, Three of Cups, and the Ten of Pentacles. Bottom of deck, Hangman. See it from a different perspective. This wasn't easy, okay? It's challenging. It's still emotionally challenging for you. But if you're wondering why you're blocked or why you can't move forward, I think what you need to see from another perspective is, oh, I'm not investing as much time into the new as I am ruminating about the past. So Knight of Cups, Three of Cups, Ten of Pentacles. Your advice for this week, start small. What makes you happy? What do you want to see long term in your future? What types of connections do you want in your life? What types of new activities or events or experiences that do you want for the long run? We have no investment here of Pentacle resources except for time. So figure out in the face of this ending, and again, regardless of when it happened, you're clearly thinking about it this week, or at least the collective is, start giving equal time, dedicating equal time to what you want. What would make you happy? What do you want to see for your future? What is part of your long-term goals? Again, you don't have to start anything new this week, except just the thought process. Oh, if I could do that again, I would do it differently. If I could move anywhere in the world, where would I move? Get inquisitive. Follow your heart. Follow where your heart wants to go. I don't think it wants to get stuck in the past. Seems too challenging and too heartbreaking. I think your heart wants to feel love again. I think your heart wants to feel joy again. Your heart wants to feel happiness again. So figure out what that happiness is. That's all you have to do this week. One more shuffle here. Thank you. Two of Swords, Eight of Pentacles, and the Nine of Wands. Bottom of the deck, Two of Pentacles. You can't see it now, but this will begin to create for you the path forward. I know you're feeling wounded and you're feeling weary right now, but if you can just get to work thinking about what you want the next chapter to look like, what are the things in your life, people, places, things, situations, experiences that you want in your life that you'd like to enjoy next time around. Again, what are the types of soulmates you want to attract? Believe it or not, that is the hard work required to put you on the path towards obtaining it and receiving it. That's what I have for you, Cancer. That is your tarot card for the week of November 30th, 2025. What painful situation in your life are you focused on? And what positive aspects are you not seeing? The ability to make your dreams come true. So this week, just give some time, some thought to thinking about what are those dreams. That's what I have for you. If you like that message, it resonated with you, you want to claim all or part of it, please be sure to click like, share, and subscribe. And until I read for you again, I am wishing you light, love, and peace.